welcome back to Calmsden. So, following on from the previous episode, we have land to purchase. So we've got a new plan, slight change of plan from the previous episodes. So, I'm just going to get pulled up here and we'll take a second to have a quick chat. So, right across the road from, or the lane or whatever you want to call it, right across from the cow barn, we've got two fields. So you can see the cow barn here and the cow pasture just away there. You can see the green. Now we're talking about the two fields right across the road. So there's this one, which has a gateway right across the road, and the one away to our right there. So let's bring up the map to just to contextualize what we're talking about. So let's zoom in. So we're talking about these two fields here. Now if you look at the value of the two fields, we're talking about 39, 49. There's one field slightly bigger than the other, but these are really, really cheap by comparison to a lot of the fields on this map. Most of the fields, they're huge and they're somewhere between half a million and 1.2 million, something like that. So they really are very expensive. Now, the first of the two fields, I don't think I'm going to buy this. If you look at the gradient on this field, I really don't fancy driving up and down along that thing. And I know you can cut across the gradient, but at some point you're going to need to carry bales or cart bales up and down that hill. Don't fancy it. So I'm decided I'm going to buy this field here. This is a nice charming little field. It's right beside the village, and crucially it's right beside the cow barn as well. So I think that might be a shrewd buy. It might also not be. We'll find out, I guess. So plan is, let's weigh in here and get it purchased. So that takes a chunk out of our bank, which is fine. Now, we've a lot to do. We're going to need to get on this pretty quickly. So we're going to need to mow it, tent it out, row it, and bale it all up. And I want to do it really quickly as well because I have a lot of other stuff to get on with. So we're probably going to heavily time-lapse this episode. So, as regards buying it goes, I mean, look, if it doesn't work out, if I don't get a heck of a lot of, a big yield out of it, or I don't get a lot of bales or whatever, I can always sell it. I mean, land or fields don't depreciate as such, so you can always get your money back, so your money isn't gone, in effect. So I know there's been an age-old kind of cheaty way of operating in farming simulator, which is flipping fields basically. Buy them, sell them, then let somebody else plant them and then buy them back again and so on. But it's not really what we're doing here. This is a genuine venture and I hope it works out. So, as I say, there is a lot to do all in one episode. So we are going to mow it down, tent it out, rake it and bale it, and once we've got, hope we get the telehandler to run a couple of those bales back up into the yard. There's no need in breaking out the big bale trailer, I don't think. But we'll find out, I guess. So this is the field away to our left. Doesn't look all that big. I think we could run around it in 3 or 4 minutes. Well, maybe 6 or 7 minutes with the mower. I think it should work out okay. I'm looking forward to it. Now, as I say, I still don't have a plan for how many cows I'm going to purchase. I think it's going to be what can I afford. And within a couple of days of feeding them, I'll figure out, well, how much feed do I have? And then we'll work backwards from there. I think that's going to be how it works. Some beautiful texturing here. Obviously the map speaks for itself and everybody's aware now that this map is amazing, but we're forever stumbling upon these little areas. Fantastic little stretch of texturing here. It is right beside the river, so it would make sense that it's kind of it's low down in a little mini valley almost. So it would make sense that there'd be standing water around here. So let's get our mower swung out. As I said, this is going to be a hyper time lapse. I'm going to do all the jobs we need to do on this field really quickly, and I'll time lapse it for the purpose of the video. This should be reasonably satisfying to watch, to get the whole lot done in maybe once it's time-lapsed, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, something like that. And what we'll do is, I think we'll catch up at the end of the video. So I'll catch up with everybody probably when we're starting to stack them, or loading the bales in with the telehandler. And at that stage, we'll also be talking purchasing cows as well. So all I can say is sit back, relax, and enjoy the next couple of minutes before we catch up again. And we're done. We are done. That was a lot of work in a very, very short space of time. So, I'm just going to drop the equipment here. This is probably not the safest place to drop all of the machinery, but I don't have time. I'll put them somewhere safe later. It actually dawned on me halfway through the job that kind of makes sense to have all of the grass equipment down here anyway, rather than up in the big tillage shed. So why am I not detaching? And there it goes. Perfect. So Fent did a great job as always. It's nice and quick. The slope in the field didn't bother it one iota. It worked absolutely perfect. Full speed. So pull it over here out of the way, and we'll grab the telly. Now that should be out of the way. I think this is a silage bit, almost certain. Now, yeah, there's no info panel, but I'm almost certain that is what it is. So let's grab the telly. Now, interestingly, I didn't get a whole lot of bales out of it. I think there's only 6 down there. So definitely can't justify taking out the big trailer and running down there. Just wouldn't make sense. I mean, if it's 3 trips for the telly, you couldn't justify making 2 trips with the trailer as well, and stacking them all, then unstacking them when we get back up to the yard. No way. So we'll just make 3 trips in the telly and we'll drop them. I actually decided to drop them inside the cow barn. So there's a little area there beside the trigger. I think it might be nice and convenient to have a couple of bales sitting right there beside the trigger. So let's get started. Who's first? This guy down here. So let's grab him. So what we'll do is we'll grab 2 at a time. I did spread the prongs of the header or the pallet fork. Spread them as wide as I could. Now I've centered that first bale really poorly, so now it's going to be tougher to get the second one up. But we don't have far to travel, so I'm sure if it's a little bit of a messy road, it will be okay. Okay, up you come. Up. Okay, there we go. So what we'll do is we'll run a couple of these. I'll do the 3 trips up to the yard. And wait a second, there's a gateway down the back of here. I wonder, is there a shortcut that we could go through here and up through the gate at the top, the other field? No, we can't get across the river. So what I'll do is I'll run these up and we'll catch up maybe on the last trip. And here we are, last trip. All the bales are up. So where I've been stacking them is right here in the barn, just on our right here. There's actually loads of space here, and this isn't used by the cows or anything like that. So all 6 bales. Whopper load of bales. So we're finally ready. It is time. It's time. We'll finally park up here and we'll hit that animal trigger and we'll get some cows in the ground at long last. So where are we? Trigger is right in front of the gate, exactly where you'd think it would be. So obviously we're going to go with the Holsteins, or Friesians as they would be known in my part of the world. So we've got 3 options: 0 months, 12 months and 18 months. So obviously 18 months are ready to reproduce already. 0 months, you're going to have to feed them for 18 months before they'll start to reproduce. So that's why they're a lot more expensive. So I want to be making money pretty much immediately. So I'm going to need at least some of the fully grown cows. So 20. Will that break me? 33,000. 2,000 of a delivery fee. That's robbery. Anyway, 33,000. 20 on the ground. I'm okay with that. And we're going to have to buy some young ones as well. I mean, we'll appreciate having the younger cows on the ground in 18 months' time because they're only 200 quid each. Wow, they devalue immediately. Okay, so let's maybe go for 10 of these. Reason I don't want to go over the top on the cheap ones is because I'm pretty sure you still have to feed them the exact same amount as the older ones. And they're producing nothing, so it's actually a hard slog for the first 18 months. Sorry, I think they might actually produce milk, but they won't reproduce more cows. So here we are. The animation on FS22 is fantastic. By comparison to FS19, I mean, this is streets ahead. Look at that. Really is very realistic. Very realistic indeed. First cow is heading for the open gate straight away. Eagle-eyed. Eagle-eyed Betsy Is she off to the open gate? So we're finally there after a bunch of planning and a bunch of decision making. We're finally there. So we'll cut this episode here. In the next episode, we'll get started on the feeding and some of the tillage work.